What's up, guys? Today, very special video. We're going to be trying out the Riftbound League of Legends trading card game for the very first time. This game doesn't come out until October 31st, I believe, but we got a little bit of an early access, a little bit of a sneak peek with these awesome trial decks, courtesy of Mini Realms and Mini Realms Arena in Las Vegas. Really cool store here in town that has a giant portal. Go check them out for all of your T.C.G needs. You guys know the vibes. Thank you to those guys. Amazing people over at Mini Realms for hooking us up with these to be able to showcase the game for you guys. For the purposes of this video, I know all of the gooners out there are going to want us to play Jinx, but we're not doing that. We're playing Volibear versus Victor, the two Chads. Alright, Yasuo, get mogged. I'm going to go through a quick tutorial on how to play the game, and then we're going to hop right into some gameplay. This game is awesome. It's one of the best trading card games I've ever played, and I've played pretty much every trading card game. Can't wait to show you guys what it's all about. Let's get into the tutorial. You'll notice the lovely trial mat here. This gives us all the zones that you're going to need for gameplay. First things first, you've got these. White back, says League of Legends on it. These are going to be your runes. You get 2 colors, maximum of 12. I believe also minimum of 12. They go right there, boom, in your rune pile. Next thing, you got to decide on your boy. Well, actually, you probably should have done this first. Our boy's always Volibear. Don't even think about it. Don't even question it. These abilities are kind of like passive abilities that your champion gets. This one gets us an extra rune when we play a mighty unit. Next up, you get a champion. Ours is obviously Volibear. Ignore the sample across the front of the card. This is basically an extra card in your hand at any point. Crack in case of fire. And that goes right there. Next up is a huge mechanic for this game, and that's going to be locations. This one we're going to be using for this video is the Obelisk of Power. Locations go up here. You play with one location on your side of the field and one location on your opponent's side of the field. It's usually done best 2 out of 3, and then you may swap locations in between the games. Battlefields, sorry, not locations. Battlefields. I'm going to try to use the correct terminology. If I get something wrong, write a hate comment down below. Your deck is then 39 cards. I believe it counts 40 total with the champion card. I'm shuffling it up real quick. So if you hear shuffling ASMR, that's because I'm shuffling it up. You start the game by drawing 4 cards. And then you get a mulligan. You can pick up to 2 of these cards to go to the bottom of the deck. And then you can drop to 2 new cards. To begin the game, you will channel your runes. If you're going first, you'll channel 2 runes. Runes will basically act as your resource engine for the game, for the whatever, for your guys, for your little guys, your League of Legends. They are your mana system. They are your resource system. You can exhaust them by turning them sideways to pay for costs, or you can recycle them to pay for additional costs by putting them to the bottom of your rune deck. The costs are found at the top left of the card. You'll notice here this card costs 7 exhaust plus 2 recycle of red runes. You can pay the exhaust cost with any color runes, but the recycle cost you have to pay with specific colors. The game is pretty straightforward from there. Once you get enough runes in play to start casting your units, to start playing your spells, you can just turn your things sideways, exhaust them, tap them, whatever you want to say. It's all the same to me. And then play your unit. Units will enter exhausted, like this, into your back rank. There's a term for this. I've already forgotten it. Anyway, at the start of your turn, you will de-exhaust. That is the technical term. Just kidding. You will go ahead and ready all of your units. So your unit becomes readied. And in order to score points and win the game, you will need to exhaust your unit to move it into a location. Once you've conquered a location, boom, you score 1 point right there. And then if you hold the unit coming back to your turn, when you ready your units again, you score another point to hold. The first player to 8 points, I don't even know if that's showing on the camera, but the first player to 8 points wins the game. However, your 8th point you can only get by conquering both your location and your opponent's location, or you can get it by holding a location for an entire turn duration. That's pretty much the gist of the game. It's fairly straightforward. A lot of the mechanics will make a lot of sense if you've played any other card game in the past, but the fact that you can play this game, pick it up, learn it in about 5 minutes, and then begin to explore the mechanics of it, just really resonates with me personally, because I love easy to learn, difficult to master, and Riftbound nails it. They get it absolutely right. The first card game to ever feel like it gets it absolutely right. I just explained to you the whole game. What was that? It was 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and that's the unedited version. I'm gonna cut parts of this out too. You already know. This game is gas. It's freaking awesome. Let's get into the gameplay with the commentary. I'll hopefully be highlighting a lot of the stuff that happens in this game in the context of the gameplay, so it's not a fucking boring tutorial for you guys. I'll see you guys in the match. Alright gamers, it's time for the gameplay. Before we get into the matches, I've got 2 matches here for you guys. I'm playing the Volibear strategy and my buddy Damien is playing the Victor strategy. I'm going to talk about the passives that are starting on each of our sides of the board. On my side of the board, I've got the Obelisk of Power, which means that each player will start with an extra rune. Normally, the player going first starts with 2, the player going second starts with 3. That'll just be upped by 1 for the duration of the first game. Then my passive skill, the legend skill for Volibear, is the Relentless Storm. Whenever I play a mighty unit, I can exhaust the skill to gain an extra rune. A mighty unit is just a unit with 5 or greater might. So whenever I play a big guy, I get an extra rune. It's a ramp strategy. You guys are familiar with this if you've played any sort of resource-based card game ever, but if you're not, ramp just allows you to accumulate your resources. And then for my champion, I'm using the Volibear Furious, who is a 10 cost Volibear with 2 recycle cost. He's very difficult to cast, but he has an insanely good ability. He has Deflect 2, which means that if he's going to be targeted, the opponent has to recycle 2 of their runes, and then when he attacks, he deals 5 damage split on the attack. So he nukes entire boards on attacking, which is really strong if you can manage to get to the late game. Now for Damien here, he's going to be playing the Victor strategy. He's going to be using the Trifarian Warcamp as his battlefield, and his battlefield gives all units there +1 might. Now that may seem kind of pointless, you know, both players will get +1 might when occupying the Trifarian Warcamp, but it comes into play because he is using sort of a token strategy, a go wide strategy, and so he's able to stack those +1s a little bit more effectively than maybe someone using just one big creature like the Volibear strategy. His legend skill has the Herald of the Arcane ability, which allows him to pay 1 rune or exhaust 1 rune and then tap this to create a 1/1 recruit, or a 1 might recruit, I should say. So it's a token strategy. Every turn he gets to make an extra token, and then his champion Victor is a 4 cost with 1 exhaust, and he has 4 might. And then when he is in play, if any of your non-recruit or non-token creatures dies, you get a 1 might recruit token. So he floats all of your creatures into 1 might recruits, which is really nice. You're going to see a lot of these recruits hitting the field and allowing him to spam and overwhelm the board very early. Victor is considered by many to be one of the more competitive strategies, so it's good to be familiar with this champion, as well as some of the other champions, of course. That's going to be the matchup here. Let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. We've resolved our mulligans, and then, yeah, let's start things off. Starting off the game, he's going to start off by putting 3 runes from his rune deck directly into play. Now, runes generally enter ready, but a lot of cards may have them enter exhausted, similar to the skill that I'm using. The Relentless Storm has them enter exhausted. So a lot of the ramp abilities will have them enter exhausted. On my turn, I'll start with 4. So the reason we've started with 3 and 4 is once again due to that Obelisk of Power. And the cool thing about this is you'll notice right off the bat, we have a lot of runes to work with. We have a lot of options to work with. And as a result, we are able to make multiple decisions as early as the first turn of the game. This is something I really didn't like about other mana-based card games, is that your first 4 to 5 turns are pretty much set in stone. So you have to navigate this really boring early game curve, which is entirely based off of luck, to even get to this point. Whereas Riftbound immediately starts at the point where you each have enough mana to start having complex decision trees, which is really cool. So his recruit unit that he put into play enters exhausted, as do all creature units. We're going to go ahead and play the Eons card, I believe is this card. Yep, Catalyst of Eons. This is a ramp spell. It allows us to channel 2 runes exhausted. If you couldn't channel 2 runes this way, draw 1 card. So if you get all the way to 12 runes, this just becomes a cantrip. It's a pretty decent card to have here on the first turn of the game because it'll allow me to go up to 8 runes at the start of the next turn. Every turn you channel 2 runes, basically. If you're going second, you get an extra rune to start, and if you're going second, you get to draw a card at the start of your turn. This is kind of the balance for going second. Yeah, so pass the turn back. He readies his 1/1 or his 1 might recruit. He's going to go ahead and draw for turn. He's going to get 2 runes off the top of his rune deck, and he is going to play Victor himself. So the champion units, you can play them in your deck as well as in your champion zone. So you get multiple copies of them, which is really nice. It allows you to really build your strategy around them, because you're not just limited to that 1 copy. You can have up to 3, I believe, total. So that's really cool. So he's going to pay 4, he's going to exhaust 4 runes, and then he's going to recycle 1 to the bottom of his rune deck to be able to cast the Victor. He enters exhausted, and then he's going to he's going to exhaust 1 rune, and then use the Herald of the Arcane to make another 1 might recruit. So as he's doing that, he can now go ahead and score the first point by moving his recruit, exhaust the recruit to move it, and conquer his battlefield of Trifarian Warcamp. So in order to conquer a battlefield, you just have to have the biggest creature there, basically. And if I move a creature into an occupied battlefield, bigger number wins. It's very straightforward. There's not much nuance to it. There is nuance when it comes to like the interactive spells that maybe prevent your creatures from conquering, your units from conquering. But yeah, as of right now, he is conquering the unit, and he's scored his first point. You will score a point upon conquering a unit, and then you will score a point at the start of your next turn if you held that, or sorry, not conquering a unit, conquering a battlefield. And then you'll score a point upon the start of your turn if you hold the battlefield. His goal right now is to get a bunch of tokens in play before I get a chance to get my big boys down. And if I can get my big boys down, they can usually contest the tokens pretty easily. We shall see, though. We shall see, because the tokens can go wide and make it difficult if he has some of his interactive spells to deal with the big boys. This turn, I have a lot of options. I have to consider all my options, and I decided to go with the Stormclaw Ursine. This guy is a mighty unit, so it will trigger my legend ability. You'll see here, I will exhaust that to get another rune exhausted. And then when the Stormclaw Ursine enters, I channel 1 rune exhausted. So once again, just ramping up, trying to get my whole rune deck into play. Once you get to about 12 runes here, the world is your oyster with the Volibear deck. And this character has 6, or this unit has 6 might, so he can definitely come in and take down one of these battlefields. However, he does enter exhausted, so I have to wait yet another turn before getting going, and that's going to give Damien a ton of initiative here. So yeah, you guys can already see this is turn 2. I have almost my entire rune deck, and we just have infinite options. The game is very quickly paced. It is so fun to play because as early as turn 2, you have so many decisions to make, whether or not you want to move your units or whatever. And we'll get into the complexity of having multiple mobility issues, or not issues, but multiple mobility options as the game develops here. He channels 2 more runes. He readies all his units, and because he held the battlefield, the Trifarian Warcamp, with his 1 might recruit, he gets to score an additional point. So he goes up to 2 points. He's already a quarter of the way towards winning the game. You guys will notice that because of the way the units are deployed, because of the way the game is paced, it's very difficult to win the game on the first few turns of the game. You have to play a full-length match most of the time. It's very difficult to completely rush and take over the game. Some decks are better at doing that sort of thing than others. Like Jinx is a pretty good rush deck, but for the most part, this is like a general like average pace for the game. This turn he can actually score a good number of points. He could move his recruit token. He could exhaust it to move it to his back rank. You do have to move back to the back rank before you move into another battlefield. So he could move it out of the battlefield. Then he could reconquer the Trifarian Warcamp one more time with either the Victor or his other recruit to score another point. And then he could conquer my battlefield, actually, with the other option of his readied units in his back rank and score up to 4 points this turn, putting on a lot of pressure. I don't know if he ends up doing that, but that is something he could do here. So he here at first attempts to move battlefield to battlefield, but you can't do that unless you have the ability ganking, I believe. So you have to move your units back to the back rank first before you decide to move them into the next battlefield. So here he moves the first recruit, or the second recruit, into my battlefield. There's no benefits on the Obelisk of Power when you conquer it, so really not much not much to look at there. He just gets to score his 3rd point of the game. He is considering his options here because if you do put your units into the battlefield, it does expose them. So if he does retreat his recruit and then move the victor up to the battlefield, then it will expose him. It will expose him to the Stormclaw Earthshine, maybe coming in and taking down his victor. Here he's going to play Hidden Blade. And this is a card that has multiple uses. It's a very skill-testing card. Let me see if I can pull it up. There you go. It's a spell, but it's got Hidden. And Hidden is an interesting sort of mechanic of this game. It's basically your trap cards, so to speak. You can hide it by recycling 1 rune of any color under an occupied battlefield. And then you can play it later for 0 if you're reacting to a combat happening at that battlefield. However, you can also just play it from your hand for exhausting 2 runes and recycling 1 yellow. It says kill a unit at a battlefield. Its controller draws 2 cards. So what he's going to do here is he's actually going to kill his own unit to draw 2 new cards. So he's building his own sort of draw engine with the Hidden Blade. That's why this card is so unique. It has 3 different uses. It's very versatile. It's a great tempo play, and it's also great for building resources off of these free recruit units. So he's going to use it here to try and build some resources off of his free recruit, destroying the recruit he just moved and drawing 2 cards. So now he has a pretty big hand to work with. He does have only 4 runes to expend for his next plays, but it worked out pretty well for him. He's going to play 3 now, or exhaust 3 now, and he's going to go for the, where is it? Vanguard Captain. There it is. So when you play the Vanguard Captain, you get 2 1 might recruit unit tokens here. The Vanguard Captain will give him a big army of the recruit units. He's going to resequence his turn there a little bit just to make sure he gets that extra recruit unit before he has to recycle the yellow rune. Because he played a spell this turn, he's going to get 2 more recruit units, and he's going to be really, really wide here on the board, and it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to take down all of these guys as the game progresses. This is the strength of Victor. You want to go wide. You want to be able to pressure these battlefields. He's now considering if he wants to move the Victor into the battlefield, and he decided that, let's see if he decided he wanted to do that or not. He's still thinking about it. Thinking forever. He decides to keep his Victor around in the back rank instead of going to score another point, and he decides not to retreat the recruit unit in his own battlefield. So he wants to try and hold that, or force me to move into the battlefield in order to hold that, or in order to contest his hold to stop him from scoring another point. He does end the turn at 3 points. He could have gone up to 4 points, but once again, the last point is always the hardest one to get because you do have to hold, or you do have to double conquer in order to score the 8th point. So on my turn, I now have my entire rune deck in play. So yeah, I get to play the Carnivorous Snapvine, I believe. No, it's a different guy. It's a different guy. Yeah, it's Carnivorous Snapvine. When you play me, choose an enemy unit at a battlefield. We deal damage to our mites equal to each other. I'm pretty sure this is the card I'm playing. So I'm going to deal damage to his recruit unit with the Carnivorous Snapvine, and I'm going to kill that unit. So clearing it from the battlefield, I no longer have to worry about him holding and scoring a point going back to his next turn. I pay 5, and then I recycle 2 of the yellow runes, and then I get to use my ability, the Relentless Storm, to get one of those runes immediately back. Next up, I'm going to pay 6 to bring out the unit Misfortune. 6 plus recycling 2 of the yellow runes. So Misfortune is a champion unit. She's got some pretty busted abilities. She's got the Accelerate ability, which basically allows her to enter ready. That means you can enter with her and then use her in the same turn if you pay a little bit of an extra cost. Then she's got ganking, which means she can move from battlefield to battlefield, which is something that I totally forget about as this game goes on, but it's, once again, a very powerful ability. And then it says the first time I move each turn, you may ready something else that's exhausted. So she is basically the huge tempo play, probably one of the best cards in the Volibear deck, in the Volibear strategy, because she allows you to regain a lot of the tempo you lost from spending your early game ramping up your guys. So at this point, I can now do some pretty crazy stuff. I will go ahead and launch an assault with the Misfortune, scoring my first point, and then readying the Carnivorous Snapvine, and then I will move the Stormclaw Urshind and the Carnivorous Snapvine into his location, occupying it with 2 creatures. They're both getting +1 because of the ability on the Trifarian War Camp, and score my 2nd point. So now I'm up to 2 points. The game is a little bit in my favor. It's on him now to answer all of my guys. He can do that. He does play cards that are capable of doing that, but I believe he is 1 turn off of casting the Wrath of God style effect that he has in the Victor deck, which will come up later, but yeah, it costs 7, I believe. So at this point, he's got some stuff he needs to figure out. He needs to somehow manage the bigger creatures that are occupying the battlefield. The Victor deck does come with a slew of removal. It does have, of course, that Hidden Blade, which we talked about earlier, but it also has the Cull the Weak, which is another removal spell, and it has some other cards like this. There's a big dragon. Here's the Cull the Weak. Each player kills one of their units, etc. You can see him making a recruit, starting off his turn with making a recruit. Also starting off his turn with a 2-cost, I believe that is the, where is it? Yes, the Watchful Sentry. When it dies, he gets to draw 1. So another kind of like chump unit that replaces itself, keeps the hands full, works well with Cull the Weak, works well just like throwing it at battlefields, and then he fires off another Vanguard Captain where he gets another 2 might recruit units. So really building up his army to try and conquer and hold that Trifarian War Camp and make it impossible for me to win. Honestly, at this point, if he just puts a ton of creatures there, ton of units there, it's going to trade off with all of my units, but he's going to be able to figure out a way to hold the fortress, basically. He's going to go ahead and send the Vanguard Captain and the Victor into my Obelisk of Power, taking the Obelisk of Power and killing the Misfortune. And then damage in this game, the way it works is you just order it. I ordered it onto the Victor, and so Misfortune is going to trade with Victor 1-for-1 there, as the Vanguard Captain is going to allow him to gain enough might in the onslaught to take down the 5 might Misfortune. It's 5 versus 7, bigger number wins, you get the idea. Then he's going to try and move some more recruit units in there to secure the location for me trying to figure out how to get it back, regain it. So we ready all our units. It's now my turn again. Get 2 more runes. I'm still 1 off from having the maximum runes, draw for turn. And this is a tough spot to be in because I need a comeback card. I am down points. I do score an extra point, up to 3, because I held his battlefield, the Trifarian War Camp. But next turn, things are starting to look a little bit scary because he does have a big army looming. If I can get another creature down that is ready this turn, then I may be able to reinforce one of the battlefields. But unfortunately, the card that I am playing here is the Magma Worm. This will make it so on future turns, all my friendly units will enter ready, but it means I'm basically taking this turn off. And because I'm not making a positive tempo play this turn with something like a Carnivorous Snapvine or something like another Misfortune, I am functionally skipping my own turn and giving him another full turn to do what he pleases in order to have a big turn on the follow-up turn with maybe readied Foley Bear. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm trying to set up for the next turn of the game. There's going to be a huge battle here in the end. I could have taken this opportunity to retreat my units, but I really want to force him to deal with them. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have no trouble doing that. He's got a handful of cards. He now has a bunch of runes. He could even go for the big Wrath of God effect. So it's possible I should have preserved one of my units there and just forced a smaller commitment from him, since it should be no issue for him to deal with my units here. So a bit of a maybe misplay on my part, and he's asking just a few questions about the Magma Worm, etc. We're going to scroll forward a little bit. Looks like he's going to use his Victor to create another recruit, as well as retreat his entire force at the obelisk so that he could promote one unit there to score another point. So he scores up to 6 points here, which is obviously terrifying, and his whole army is back at his base, pretty much threatening to conquer back the Trifarian War Camp. And I think he might even try to do that right now. He's deciding which unit to send in there. And he's decided to send in the, I believe it is the Watchful Sentry, so that when it dies, he does get to draw that card. We are, of course, learning the game as we're playing it, so it's a little bit of a lax play where we're letting each other take back a few plays here and there, just so we get the best possible gameplay for you guys. I ready my Worm, I ready my Earthshine and my Snapvine, which were already readied, and all my runes are now in play. I can now play the Volibear readied. I can now conquer both locations, both battlefields, and I do score a point for holding up to 4 points. So I'm halfway to completing the game, but things look scarier for me, I'm not gonna lie. I have to pay 7 here to play the, I believe, Tryndamere, who's another champion unit. There's a lot of champion units in the Volibear deck. But yeah, Tryndamere comes out, and he has a pretty strong ability when he conquers after an attack. If you assign 5 or more excess damage to enemy units, you score an additional point, which is really good. But he does enter like exhausted, so it's kind of telling. However, if you set up the worm before him, the Magma Worm before him, it's kind of like a surprise Tryndamere, which seems pretty strong. He costs 7 exhaust and 2 recycle, so pretty heavy on the mana side of things. I will be able to put a rune back into play thanks to the Relentless Storm. And then I do have also, in addition to this, a Blazing Scorcher, which is just a 5 mana, 5 might unit that I can pay additional to give it ready. Thankfully, the Magma Worm already gives it ready, so I don't need to pay that additional cost. So this turn, I am able to put 2 readied units into the battlefield. So putting the Magma Worm into play prepared me for having this really big turn here. I can still not win the game this turn, unfortunately, unless I retreat both my units. And then even if I do that and then conquer both, I'm scoring only 3 maximum here. So I score 2 points by moving the Tryndamere into this battlefield. And then he's going to gain another unit, a recruit unit from the champion Victor that he put into play on the previous turn. I forgot to mention that. There's a lot going on, guys. It's a complex game. It's a complex game. It's simple to learn, very easy to learn, and very difficult to master because you got to keep track of the back rank. You got to keep track of like all the different cards coming into play, and then the armies getting built. Like from Victor here, the token army that's getting built is gonna be devastating. But yeah, I definitely could have made a different play here. I could have retreated the 2 units in his battlefield and then put up a Magma Worm or something like that. But I really don't see the point in doing that because he's forced to deal with both of our occupied battlefields. Unfortunately for us, he has all the initiative, and he's at that dreaded 6th point. So if he conquers both battlefields this turn, he does instantly win the game, and I believe I'm dead on board. I'm going to be honest. I believe I'm dead on board because he has the initiative, and he has a full army to be able to take down both of the battlefields here. So it's going to be a Victor W for the first game, which is pretty cool. He's just doing the math, figuring out how to take it down. The cool thing about his location, the Trifarian War Camp, is with this army, he's getting +1 on all of them. So every time he conquers it, he's getting like an additional +6, whereas I'm only getting like an additional +2 or whatever. So he's just breaking it down a little bit. He's going to go ahead and use a Hidden Blade to deal with our Tryndamere, and that's going to make this all too simple for him to close this first game out. So pretty close one. We were able to get up to 6 points here. But that big turn where we had to take off to play that Magma Worm really cost us. It cost us a lot of tempo. And while it did give us a big turn in the following play, having just readied units to play the turn I played the Magma Worm would have been a lot more efficient and effective at utilizing the tempo and utilizing the time of the game. So that's going to be the first game. We're going to go ahead and shuffle up and start a second game. So I'm going to fast forward to the start of the second game here. Here's the start of the second game. We are starting off similarly with the Obelisk of Power and the Trifarian War Camp on his side. He's going to go ahead and start this game off, I believe. Or no, I get to go first this game. So I'll start with 3 runes because of the Obelisk of Power, of course, and then I'm going to be playing the Mobilize spell card. This is a pretty simple, straightforward, 2-cost, channel 1 rune exhausted, little baby ramp spell. This is probably the ramp spell that you want to mulligan towards, or try to see going first because you have 3 runes going first, so you have the ability to play this card going first in the Volibear units. Volibear, what is it called? Oh my gosh, trial deck. There you go. There you go. Oh my gosh, so much new terms. I'm going to watch this back in like a year after playing Riftbound, and I'm going to watch myself stumbling over all these words, and I'm going to be like, man, this is this is hilarious. But alas, here we are. He gets to start with 4 runes, so pretty scary. He could go for a turn 1 victor if he wants to. Instead, he's going to go for that turn 1 Watchful Sentry, I believe here he is. And then turn 1 make a recruit unit using his Herald of the Arcane ability. So he's already hitting the board pretty hard, but I get to start with all the initiative on the second turn of the game with 6 runes, which is fantastic. 6 runes is a great place to be because it'll allow you to play a Readied Misfortune or a Readied Blazing Scorcher. Unfortunately, I have no plays, and I show the camera that my plays require me to wait another turn. I'm really excited to try out this Volibear deck when I can make a more consistent, constructive version of it, where I'm not relying on certain types of strategies. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and move his Watchful Sentry into the Obelisk and the Recruit unit into his Trifarian War Camp and score the first 2 points of the game. So off to the races already. Potentially, I will have a way to come back into the game. He's going to go ahead and get his Champion Victor into play. Big boy Victor hitting the board. And yeah, just another Hidden Blade. Another Hidden Blade use to destroy his own Watchful Sentry to draw 3 new cards. So not bad. Not bad, honestly. Not a bad turn for him, building his own draw engine, getting the points that he needs to. Actually, I don't know if he can do this. I think he might be out of mana. Yeah, he might have been out of yellow mana to do that. He might not have been able to do that. Scratch that. Little misplay, just passes the turn. He doesn't decide to hide the Hidden Blade, but that's probably because I now know about it. Anyway, we channeled 2 runes, and now that we know about the Hidden Blade, how do we proceed? This is going to be quite difficult. I'm going to go ahead and tap 6 runes and recycle the 1 red to play the Blazing Scorcher readied. So we got our 5 might units. We're going to go ahead and use the Relentless Storm, I believe, or at some point I'm going to use it. Hold on. I may have forgotten to use it. It's okay. We missed triggers here. It's day one. It's day one. We're going to go ahead and use this spell, which I believe is where is it? I have it here somewhere. I pulled it up somewhere. There it is. No, where is it? I skip over it. There it is. Challenge. Choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. So it's basically a fight spell. If you've played Magic the Gathering or any of those types of games, you'll know all about fight spells. It just pick 2 creatures, they fight each other. So I'm going to do that and have my Blazing Scorcher that is ready to fight his Victor to clear the Victor right out of the battle zone. And then I am going to contest his boy. I'm going to go ahead and swing into that, where is it? Watchful Sentry. And knock him the fuck out of here, basically. Get out of here. Give him an extra card. I don't even care. And I'll score my first point of the game. Now, going back to him, he's going to score another point because he did hold. So he's going to go up to 3 points here, or he should go up to 3 points here. Did we somehow both miss that? Oh my gosh, this is sloppy. This is messy. Oh no, we didn't miss it. He just forgot to bump up his point. Okay, cool. He's at 3 points here. He's checking out his hand. He's trying to figure out what to do. He's got plenty of runes, so he can play a large quantity of his plays. That's why I really like the Blazing Scorcher in this deck, is it generally allows you to do quite a bit in one turn, especially if you have one of your key removal spells like the Challenge. So here comes a large amount of runes being exhausted for him to play one of the bombs in his deck, which is the Wraith of Echoes. This card is, for some reason, smaller on my thing. There we go. Let's make him larger. There we go. The first time a friendly unit dies each turn, draw 1. This is obviously excellent because he can use this with the spammed recruits, and the recruits will allow him to pick up more card advantage, and it's just this huge, unstoppable wave of how do you deal with all these resources? The only way to deal with them is to out-quality them or out-tempo them, and it's very difficult to do that because Victor is so fast. So here comes the Wraith of Echoes. Big resource drop from him. It is going to take his whole turn to play this guy, and he's going to make another recruit, but he can decide now if he wants to retreat his recruit. Looks like he doesn't want to because he wants it to die, and he wants to get that lovely, what is it? Spell, or not spell, lovely draw one from his Wraith of Echoes. He could have hidden his Hidden Blade under the recruit, but yeah, one thing to note is that if a unit dies in a battlefield, you do lose all of your hidden cards there. So there is a very real risk to setting trap cards in this game, or quote-unquote placing hidden cards, because if your units are killed by a spell, for example, then you lose so much time and so much advantage. It's really backbreaking. So holding the Hidden Blade here isn't necessarily terrible. We're going to go ahead and fire off another Stormclaw Ursine so we can get some more ramp. I did forget to use the ramp ability on the previous turn, but alas, here it is. And then we are going to play that little guy. Where's that little guy? Little guy. I think it's Legion Rearguard. He's just a 2 mana, 2 might guy. 2 rune, 2 might. You know the vibes. 2 mana, 2/2. He's in every game. He's a grizzly bear in some of the games, but in this game, the grizzly bears are quite a bit bigger. You can make him enter with ready, but we did not. We scored a point at the start of our turn from holding with the Blazing Scorcher, but that's just going to be our entire turn, just setting up for the big war that is to come over these battlefields. He's going to hold the Trifarian War Camp with his recruit, so he's going to score up to 4, and now it's up to him. It's up to him to do some stuff. One of the nice things about having the Legion Rearguard in play here is it does insulate me a little bit from the Cull the Weak. Each player kills one of their units because we can just choose to sacrifice off our Legion Rearguard, who is kind of a negligible card, kind of a negligible creature here. He's going to go ahead and fire off the, what is this, rune card? I don't know what it's called. Seal of Unity, which is kind of a mana rock. It allows you to pay for the recycle costs. These cards are interesting to me. They work really well in like the Jinx deck where she's trying to empty her hand super fast and may or may not have a lot of recycle costs that these can pay for over the course of the game to make sure you hold up all the mana tempo that you want turn to turn. So yeah, I think recycling is such an interesting mechanic because it's like you set yourself back, but you get a powerful effect. So he's going to use that recycle cost there, the Seal of Unity, to cast the Hidden Blade and hunt down his own recruit to draw 3 new cards. 1 off the Wraith of Echoes ability, and then of course 2 off of the Hidden Blade there. He's going to go ahead and occupy the Trifarian War Camp once again with his next recruit, so scoring another point, going up to 5 points. But I'm actually pretty happy with this situation, unless something like a Vanguard Captain is coming down here. Unfortunately, it looks like that's exactly what's happening. It's going to give him 2 more recruit units. This is really what's going to allow him to amass his army, this card specifically. It's a very, very strong card. It's basically 3 cost plus 1 recycle for up to, I believe, 8 might, because in the Trifarian War Camp, the Vanguard and the 2 recruits will get plus 1 might as well. So yeah, pretty difficult. Passes the turn back to me. I need to now fight this really big uphill battle, but I do have all my runes, which is nice. So I can make something happen this turn. I can maybe put the Volibear into play. I can maybe figure something out. Volibear is obviously very difficult to deal with. I'm just going to start things off, moving the Legion Rearguard into his battlefield to conquer it and score a point. And because I held my Obelisk of Power, I'm also going to have a point from that. So this brings me up to 4 points. I am in a better position this game than I was in last game, and I have a lot more of the initiative. I'm now going to go ahead and recycle 2, and I'm going to play the Volibear. So this is the first time we get to see Volibear hitting play, Volibear Furious. On the next turn of the game, I'm going to be able to use his insane ability to pop all his guys if he decides to counterattack me. And so I'm in a pretty good spot. He's also pretty difficult for Damien to deal with on the back rank here because he'll need, I don't even think Hidden Blade deals with it, right? Yeah, Hidden Blade only deals with units at battlefield. So the Volibear's in the back rank. It's very difficult for this Victor Trial deck to deal with back rank non-lone threats, because Cold a Week is a way of dealing with it. He does have one card that deals with it. It is the Harnessed Dragon, which can just blow up the Volibear. But the Harnessed Dragon is a little bit out of reach for him. It's going to be 8 runes. He only has 7, and he needs to recycle 2. And then he would also need to recycle another 2 due to the deflect 2 on Volibear Furious. So even if he had the Harnessed Dragon here, he wouldn't be able to play it this turn. So I'm going to get at least one turn here with the Volibear. And if next turn I can have something like a Misfortune Volibear, I am probably going to dominate. Oh, no, wait. He will have enough. He will have enough to... I, for some reason, thought he had started his turn already with 7 units, or 7 runes, but he does not. He's going to go up to 9 runes. So he could Harness Dragon the Volibear here. That would be pretty bad, but it would cost him his entire turn and basically all of his runes. He would have to recycle 4 of them, which is quite a lot, and it would be a big tempo advantage for me nonetheless. So I don't know. I'm holding both locations. I retreated the Blazing Scorcher and moved the Earth Sign into the Obelisk of Power, which scored me another point. I'm now at 5 points. If it goes back to my turn, on my turn, I can just retreat both units and then double conquer and win the game. So he's in a pretty bad spot here. He needs to deal with the back rank. He also needs to deal with the units that are holding the battlefield. So it's kind of like attacking from multiple angles. And then even if he does deal with the units at the battlefield, the Volibear is crashing back and just clearing his entire board functionally free of charge, because he deals 5 damage split to any number of enemy units in the battlefield, and he's got 9 might, which is going to be very difficult for Damien to deal with once he loses his entire army that he's going to have to spend to deal with the units currently occupying his units. So, or currently occupying his battlefield, sorry. Oh my gosh, the words. This game is very diction heavy, I'm learning. I'm gonna have to get used to it. It's old dog, new tricks type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Very difficult. So he is considering his options here, counting down the days until Volibear ends his life. He's going to go ahead and start making some moves. He's going to retake the Trifarian War Camp, scoring up to 6 points with the Vanguard Captain, swinging over the, I believe, the rear, Legion Rear Guard, taking that guy down, the 2 might creature unit, monster, whatever they're called. Then he's going to start expending some runes. And I believe he's playing a card that I don't have pulled up here. I don't even know what this card does. Hold on, give me a second. I think it gives his unit plus a certain amount of might. I think it's a card that just gives +5 might. I didn't pull that card up because I forgot to. My bad, guys, my bad. But it just gives him +5. It's a pump spell. And then he uses it as a way for his recruit to trade with the Stormclaw Ursine. Then he conquers the Obelisk, but it only scores him up to 7. And now he's going to end his turn with one more Vanguard. Where's that guy? Vanguard Captain. There we go. And put 2 recruits into play. But now I need to just hold one of these fortresses down and clear both. And I should be able to do that. Something like Misfortune here would actually possibly cause me to win the game this turn, depending on how things are sequenced. So there's a really strong combination attack in this deck, and it's going to be the Misfortune plus the Volibear, and that is obviously insane, right? You have Misfortune, which enters ready. Then as you'll swing first. Looks like I'm going to use the Stormbringer instead, which is pretty nasty. This is a signature spell for Volibear. Choose a friendly unit in your base. Deal damage to its might equal to all enemy units at a battlefield. Then move your unit there. So we're going to deal damage to his unit equal to the Blazing Scorcher's might. Move it there. Conquer the battlefield and score a point up to 6. So a really powerful positive tempo kill spell here that will allow us to not only move the unit into the battlefield without exhausting it, then we can retreat the unit. And now at this point, I'm going to move the Volibear, deal 5 to the Vanguard Captain that's occupying his Trifarian War Camp, and kill it, obviously, scoring another point up to 7. Then I'm going to go ahead and play the lethal Legion Rear Guard with instant ready and conquer the second battlefield for the last point. So going to take this game down up against Victor due to a massive turn there, scoring 3 points in a turn, being able to take all the tempo back thanks to the powerful spells of the Volibear deck and the power of just entering ready in this game. It allows you to basically go ahead multiple turns that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I don't know, this is a lot of words, this was very wordy, but I hope you guys got a good idea of how Riftbound is played. It's a really cool, like, positional battle game. I don't know how to say it. It's really sweet, and the way the scoring system works, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan because you really have to think about how you occupy or like where you position your characters. And I played a few more games off camera, of course, since then, and it gets even more complex than this specific match. But this is just a brief demonstration of what the game looks like at entry level, and it's a blast. The game also has like a multiplayer mode, I believe, which is cool if you're into like Commander or multiplayer type stuff. The game also has a Constructed that's going to be coming out. These are, of course, the trial decks. They're a simplified version of how the Constructed will look. Although they are pretty high power level for trial decks, they do have some pretty strong cards. I mean, Victor's one of the tier 1 decks right now in Constructed, so clearly it's a similar version to that. And yeah, I mean, the game's great. I'm looking forward to playing it more. I wish there was an online sim. Doing this overlay thing and like all this commentary for this. And as the game becomes more familiar with both me and the viewers, of course, it is pre-release, of course, I won't have to be explaining every single little detail of the game, and it'll be more of a fluid commentary, I think. But I'm excited for it. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of Riftbound stuff in the future. I'm hoping for a digital platform from Riot. That would be amazing. That would make making content so much easier. And yeah, I'm looking forward to taking these decks to tournaments. Well, not the trial decks, but trying out Volibear and trying out Victor in the, the fucking competitive play. If you guys like this type of thing, if you want to see more Riftbound content, let me know in the description below. Big fan of the game. It feels very fluid, and I'm excited to play more. See you guys in the next one. Peace.